Greetings, citizens.
Hello!
Did you miss us? You know, I've been saying it for years. The future is Chinese saxophone. Nothing but nice hot Chinese sax.
It's relaxing music that you can study or meditate to.
I mean, I can't imagine myself doing anything to these songs besides browsing a small supermarket.
Yeah, you're
like,
picking up.
You are absolutely just like walking through perhaps in the middle of a movie, like after you've just had your first huge action scene where you got really fucked up and you're like a little bloody.
Yeah.
And now you're like, but you have to eat, so now you're walking through.
Yeah,
a small marketplace, and people are looking at you, and you're listening to this music while just sort of dumping, like reaching out and just dumping stuff into your cart.
Yeah. You're trying to read what the labels are, and like in the medical goods section.
Yeah,
and you
just giving up half
a
second in and just dumping them in anyways.
Yeah, and then you're like, you're looking through for anything that might be beer, and it turns out you actually got tamarind soda, which is not a pleasant thing at all.
You have to hammer a bunch of those non-carbonated tiny Red Bulls.
Yeah, to me, this is Crank 3. This is Crank 3. There's got to be some sort of Chinese pun that could be had.
Crank 3, the Chinese connection.
But really, it's more like you're looking through the candy section trying to figure out which ones have ones are just like sour nuts, and which ones of them are like lemon candies and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you're there with your friends.
In Crank 3, he has to have sex with a Chinese man every 10 minutes or he dies.
They don't all want it. Is the problem.
That is the problem.
That's really the kind of the ethical hang-up of the movie that I thought was a strange development, where they made Jason Statham rape 60 Chinese men throughout the course. Like, you gotta just
how many, you know, your life is worth how many Chinese men getting raped?
It's a serious moral quandary. It's you know, I don't know how you can possibly qualify such a thing, but he does, and it turns out that he's right. He did the right thing.
He's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he stopped the bomb from going off in the preschool, and then that that actually ended up making up for it. So, God's mathematics are truly a staggering thing. They're, according to Tien Tran in the comment section in this video, it is a combination of Western and Chinese music that we've been listening to. It is a mixture of China and Western style.
I guess it's Western in the sense that, like, the West invented the saxophone. I don't know what else is coming from over here. The chords are very East Asian, I think.
I think it's resonating with my Western spirit, though. Like, there's something that in my deep European.
It's reaching you on a primal level. That sax.
Yeah, it's like whenever I'm I hear mariachi music when I'm out in public and there are mariachis playing, I recognize that at its core it's just spicy polka music, and then I can jive with it because I'm like, oh yes, we too of European descent appreciate the quality of polka and what the fuck is the thing that they play that you crunch it a whole bunch? What's the instrument you squeeze?
The what?
What's the instrument you squeeze? You gotta squeeze it.
What did you say? I didn't even hear you say the what do you squeeze?
It's an instrument.
The
You
accordion.
Yeah, the accordion.
I thought you already said accordion.
No, I was trying to get it.
Okay.
Couldn't get it. I got it now. Thanks for the help.
You squeeze.
Thanks for bringing it on home.
Yeah. Accordion and castanets. You both kind of squeeze castanets just very quickly.
You clack them.
Yeah.
Those are clacker instruments, which is that is a distinct group of instruments. The clackers. There's the squeezers. There's the what other? There are the stabums, and then there's the strokums. They're the ones that you stroke.
I don't know what. I don't even.
You take the rod and you rub it all over it. There's the ones you blow into.
I don't even know what you're.
There's the ones that you put.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
There's the one you put your finger all over.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Put your fingers all over them.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes you got to fill a hole. If it's there's that one that you got to fill the hole. You got to put your fist in there.
Yeah, all instruments are very sexual. I don't trust music. It's too weird. It's all a bunch of perverted stuff that you're doing to like a hollowed out piece of wood.
How the fuck could this instrument that you shove your fist into produce the same notes as the one that you squeeze?
Yeah, the bagpipe. Like you're fondling one end and you're blowing into the other. Like, all right, man, sure.
That's yeah. Okay. You really gotta.
Yeah,
you're working the shaft.
Traditional music you play at funerals here. You fucking creep.
You're not wearing any underwear.
No, they wear underwear, but you're not wearing pants. It's true. They're not wearing pants. I bet a lot of those guys aren't wearing underwear. They love it.
I've the people that I've known that have worn kilts don't be wearing underwear when they be wearing them. So, I guess that you and I know one person who wears kilts. I think he wore underwear, but I'll text him here in a bit and figure it out.
I bet he tried it at least once.
Tim wore kilts. Tim owns a kilt at least.
Yeah, that makes
of course, naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy who had an Abe Lincoln beard for 3 years does also own a kilt.
My mom just showed me a picture of my uncle, who now has a huge, pure snowy white beard. And I asked her, I was like, "Is that actually the color that it is?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm hoping I inherited some of that. That'd be so awesome to have that shit.
I wish I could fucking flash all the hair on my body white right now. I would take full on white hair, beard, hair, doesn't matter. Because I know I'm going to be a silver
Prime.
fox.
You could be like some kind of weird otherworldly.
Yeah.
Like
I've got a glowy spirit.
Eye. Yeah.
Got a glowy eye, and my hand has like some sort of ceiling symbol on it, and I can't really do much, but I have the power to reflect on things that just happened. So like I could be like, damn, that sucked.
You have the power to see things 2 seconds after they happen.
Yeah. That's usually how it goes on dates. Is I'm like, did I just blow this? I'm like, oh shit, I just blew this opportunity to get laid.
You think of really funny things to say 2 seconds after you should say them instead of 2 hours after. So it hurts even more because you missed it so close.
There's a whole lot of like media of people who have superpowers, but there's not a ton of media about people who are just like cursed, like, and they just have to go through the world like just at some sort of disadvantage, and then they have to because inevitably if you have a piece of media about somebody who's like oh, his power is that he has no power, that ends up being the most powerful power. But what about the one where it's like
smarts to make up for it or something?
Yeah.
Or an ally.
Yeah. What if it's just like you're born with no limbs? That'd be pretty tough. And then you have to find ways of navigating the world without like you're like a nugget person. Do you think that's a show?
Yeah, definitely.
There's
been stuff like that. There's that slime show. He's just a slime,
Yeah, that's kind of like being a nugget.
Any limbs.
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with one because I saw this one and I'm like, I could do one of these. So now I'm throwing. So no limbs is a good starting point. You're saying? Yeah,
little Johnny No Limbs, we call him.
Okay, you have no limbs, and also you're blind.
And you're gay. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is the struggle is
you're gay, but you don't know what sex is, so you're just really like effeminate. You're just really annoying.
You're the most effeminate little nugget.
But you don't even like fuck 18 people a week, so you just have this huge emptiness that you just cannot even explain to yourself.
Yeah, you just got an opening monologue for this thing where it's then like I have this void inside of me that I need filled, and then they ultimately end up in a situation where they become like the fuck toy in a sex dungeon somewhere.
Mom,
and that's
Dad, I'm gay. I'm transgender.
Are you here? I can't see you because I don't have eyes.
Yep.
I don't have eyes or limbs, so I can't feel if you're there either.
I'm just a big shambling sack of bone fragments. Speaking of filling up holes, I've been spending a ton of money, and I don't know why. Really, I just
good.
want to. Yeah.
Yeah. What have you been spending money on?
I bought a Meta Quest 2 for some reason.
Oh wow!
I was like, I want to see where this. I want to do this.
What VR is now, like 4 or 5 years later. Like, yeah. What's the current state?
That's like the latest like consumer grade one they released. It's from like a couple of years ago. Yeah, and I'm trying to and I'm also trying to buy a new CPU for my PC.
Ooh.
I don't really, again, no real reason to, but it's like I can just drop in a 5950, an AMD 5950 into this motherboard, which is a 32 thread processor, and I could sell my current one for like 150. So I was like, I should do that. I don't know. It's very efficient, and it's also like that's the most powerful one that's released for this socket, and they're done with this motherboard socket. So that's like the best I can do. So I want to just kind of upgrade and then be able to coast on this build for a few years at least.
My dad, they were talking on the phone today. And so you know how at the cabin there's the pond, and there are like several buildings on the pond, you know, and there's like a club. It's all it owns it.
Yes, and that pond has the cabin that I always tell myself I would hide out in if I had to skip town.
Of course,
not yours.
Mine.
Don't worry.
No,
that's
no,
cool.
No, the abandoned one.
Well, shh. But yeah, obviously the abandoned one.
That the owner of one of the other pieces of property, my dad was just informed, is selling his plot and then like a bunch of logging land for like $160,000.
You got to stop with that lighter or whatever it is. I know I do that all the time.
Oh,
too,
sorry. Yeah.
It's killing our viewers.
It's $160,000 or whatever, which is like not a ton of money.
How many acres is it? Wait, what? Yeah,
it's a fuck ton. it's a lot. It's like 80 or something. I don't know. I can't.
My dad really wants to buy land in the Adirondacks. I wonder if I could convince him to get it.
My dad is like, well, wait a minute. Why are you selling this to other people? Just sell it to us. And my dad is angling to buy like they have maybe a quarter of the pond right now. He's angling to get like another half of the pond, and then have like the majority of the thing be theirs, and then there's the one other cabin on there that nobody goes to, and then they would effectively own the entire thing. How fucking sick would that be?
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, man. So they're like, and they wouldn't even have to. There's a ton of logging land up there that they don't have any use for because it's all like marshland, you know. So they're like maybe considering selling some of the way back stuff for logging purposes, and then picking that up. So that'd be rad. That's a thing that just happened. What else is going on?
It's not on Zillow.
No, I think it's currently in the process of like being a private sale to an outside party, and my dad's going to try to intervene and be like, "Hey, we will pay more, please." So
yeah. Oh yeah, have I told you about? I showed you the crazy new house that my dad got that looks like
that's insane.
It's this crazy like postmodern like movie set house where it's just like it's like all these huge windows.
It's like
inside.
a Michael Mann movie. Yeah,
it's like I've been inside it now, and it is so fucking weird. I mean, it's gigantic, but all of the like geometry and like the layout and spacing is so like bizarre and off-putting. The size of everything's weird, and like it's probably just been changed up a whole lot. It's not super old, but like there's a lot of just weird. All the ceilings are too high in weird places. There's there's a spot where there's a corner that's like where there's this desk where it's like an office, but like out in front of you is just this huge void, and then you drop down and there's like a kitchen below there. I don't know. It's very strange. And there's all these huge windows that go way up that you can't reach, and yeah. So they bought this crazy expensive house, and now he's just been he's been destroying like the main bathroom himself because it was like full of mold and shit. And it's like they bought this crazy house, but then to fix this fucked up bathroom it would have been like 10 grand. So he's just been like destroying it with a hammer.
Oh my god. What? How did they not inspect this? Did they know that it was going to be like this? Did they know it was going to have fucking mold in it they were going to have to deal with?
How did they even find that? I can't even remember. But no, I'm sure they probably waived the inspection and then found out about it. Yeah. I don't know.
What else is going on?
I
Kitty,
also bought
Sleepy.
new another thing I spend money on is new hard drive, new SSD to replace the boot SSD.
I did just get a new hard drive. A new SSD for my games.
Mm-hmm.
I just put a bunch of money into my cat and my car. My car, the horn stopped working like 2 years ago. And I just you
just gotta rev really hard at people when you get mad at them.
I got really good at rolling down the window, so I know exactly
fast,
when. Yeah, it gives me time to process whether or not I'm actually that angry.
And you got really good at imitating a horn sound with your mouth so that no one knows.
This is actually part of my ability to see things two seconds later after they happen. Is that I'm processing what the transgression was as I'm rolling down the window. So I'm like, wait a minute.
Just like someone gets to do a fender bender in an intersection, and then like a little while later you roll by and just like the Doppler effect, like, hey, look out. You have the window down instantly, but it still takes you a second to figure out what to say. You're like, hey man, watch out. Oh, god damn it. This curse I have.
There's on my phone, my phone that I have, sometimes when I'm using Wi-Fi calling, there's a huge delay in everything I say. So I'm sort of effectively living that, in that I have to yell at people 2 seconds, I have to let people know something's happening on the road 2 seconds after it occurs. And then I also have to, navigate these conversations where people think that I'm speaking from the other end of from another fucking dimension.
Yeah.
So
someone tells a joke and you're like, ha, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Oh god. Oh, I could probably work on diagnosing what the issue is, but I just haven't bothered. So yeah, I got to fucking put a bunch of money into my car, and then
for the horn. Were you gonna fix the horn yourself or something?
I gave it a shot.
Oh.
And what happened is that I reached an impasse where there's something that should have been done with screws when they were building the car was done with like these notches that are really fucking difficult to access. So it basically is designed to prevent a user from doing it themselves. And I got to that point, I'm like, motherfucker. So I just put it back together and took it to the shop.
Yeah.
So that cost a bunch of money, and now I'll finally be able to register my car.
Nice.
I'm getting just a constant fucking barrage of phone calls because the healthcare marketplace from healthcare.gov is telling me that I need to pick a new plan. And then because my plan that I was on is going away next year. And then So I get calls from them literally every single day, which I'm going to put off
Sick.
until the last possible day to deal with it, of course.
Yeah.
And then my mailbox on my phone, the visual voicemail on my phone doesn't work. I've tried calling. This has been this way for like 5 years. So I tried calling Verizon, and they're like, "You should be able to enable this from your phone." And I'm like, "Motherfucker! It told me to call you because I can't enable it." So I have a mailbox that has 19 saved messages and then one slot. And then there's like one message slot available that it fills up immediately. So the second I get a voicemail from healthcare.gov, my voicemail box is full.
Yeah.
And then
and
whenever
it erases the last one.
No, it is full, and then I have to, I have business stuff that I need to get phone calls for, and sometimes people have to leave fucking voicemails for me. Yeah. So the second I get the voicemail, which is a notification that I cannot get rid of, by the way, it is always there at the top of my screen, and the only way to disable the voicemail notification would be to disable all notifications from my phone entirely, which is not an option. Yeah. So,
is this an Android phone?
This is an Android phone.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say this sounds annoying in the way that Android phones are.
And this is an Android phone. So I have to, every time I get a call from the healthcare marketplace, which I hang up on, I get a voicemail. So I have to go and immediately do that. I suppose I could do that. Yeah. I had to consider that. But then I was also I was deciding whether or not I wanted to buy a new car or repair my current car. So I went to a used car lot and made the mistake of giving them my phone number so they could run a credit check on me. It was like part of the whole process of a credit check. It's like, fill out this form, and I'm like, okay. And on that form was a phone number line, and motherfucker, if they don't call me every day too, asking me if I'm going to come in and buy the car. And they'll just leave me constant voicemails like, "You coming? Hey, they got another one of those cars available. Do you want it?" And so I'm getting like a week. I'm getting somewhere between 20 and 30 voicemails, which is driving me fucking crazy, man.
That's not good.
That's really. I binge drank for like 4 days last week.
Sick.
I watched the movie Druk.
What?
The movie Druk, which is a Thomas Vinterberg movie with Mads Mikkelsen. And it's a Danish movie.
Yeah.
And in the concept of the movie is that these 4 teachers, they're like high school teachers, they make an agreement based on the supposition. Okay, so the proposed idea is that humans are born with an ABV that is 0.05 too low. So they come to the agreement that they're all going to start maintaining a 0.05 a BAC rather, a 0.05 BAC every day while they're at work.
Technically, ABV is the same as BAC, isn't it?
I guess technically, just your blood instead of the liquor.
Yeah.
But so they start drinking while at work, and it's a pretty terrific movie. And I'm like, I'm gonna give that a whirl, and then I spent like 4 days just.
Oh, it's called Another Round in English. Okay, I have.
Yeah. I spent 4 days drinking constantly, and it was horrible, and my body was an absolute wreck, and I felt like shit all the time.
Okay, see, I'm glad because I didn't tell you about this because I felt like it was the kind of thing that would make you worried. But I also tried this recently.
You just tried day drinking?
I was like, we always talk about like just how cool it would be to be drunk all the time. Like maybe you would just basically be like a fucking superhuman, socially or whatever. You just have all this motivation. So yeah, I just tried being drunk for an entire week. And it's just, it doesn't really work.
No, I felt like complete garbage.
Just the amount. I mean, I didn't feel that awful, but it's just like the amount you have to drink to be drunk for a full day. And then for a full week is just like, It's absurd. You can't keep it up, and also like the positive effects of alcohol, where you're just like you're way more motivated. It doesn't last that long. It doesn't keep going just as long as you keep drinking. So that was a success in that I learned, but it was a failure in that it did not succeed in the ways I was hoping it would.
The really the thing is that I'm like, what do you want to drink effectively 8 shots of a day, assuming you're doing it during the workday? It's like nothing. There's nothing in the world that I want to drink one shot of, every hour for 8 hours straight. Like, that's just not the way that, first of all, it's not the way that like you drink. You drink, or you have you got a pre-game and then you maintain. It's like being kind of buzzed is not like, being kind of buzzed for a really long time sucks, and it made me like tired and lethargic and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, not fun. Don't recommend doing it. Felt like garbage. This was the day that I texted you.
You got to be born for it. You got to really want it.
And I figured that I had enough Irish in me to make it work, and it turns out I didn't have it.
Yeah, neither of us.
Wasn't really real.
What did you text me?
Just going back to the Irish thing real quick. Get another dig in while we can, but like, it's also probably really diet related too. Like, you probably need to be eating in a way to like, you need probably a really high fat diet to deal with
a lot of salt. It just sucks all the electrolytes out of you.
Pissing constantly.
Yep. I can't believe we both did this. Just completely independently of each other.
We're both.
I didn't even watch the movie.
Bachelors.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I've been a bachelor for a while.
Everyone. I think every bachelor does it eventually. There's probably a point in every bachelor who doesn't have to go in an office life where they make the decision to try it. If I had to guess.
Yeah,
but,
I guess.
This started the day that I texted you that I got a bottle of Evan Williams for $12 because so I got that, and then I'm also, the other spirit that I went for was I got 60 proof. 120 proof, so 60 ABV grain alcohol, and that was one of the things because I would only have to
really
drink like
strong
a small
vodka.
Effectively, yeah. And that was what I wanted, because I'm like, it's something I can just put into a soda or whatever,
mm-hmm.
And oh god, that shit sucked. Anyway, what else? That's really like what's been going on in my life. Just going on a bender. You went for an entire week?
Well, like a work week, 5 days.
5 days. Okay, yeah. So I did 4,
mm-hmm.
and just a horrible experience that I would not recommend to anybody. Which is what the movie. That's like the movie is. Like, come on, it's a movie. That's what the movie's going to be. Is that it's a horrible experience. It's going to seem conceptually awesome, and then in any sort of practical application, it's just going to suck. So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Yeah, I bought a deer hoist for my garage.
Oh my God.
I'll still probably chicken out, but I'm just keep telling myself one of these days I'm just gonna wake up early and I'm just gonna sit out there and one's gonna walk right past me.
He's revving up.
I got 1 week left, I think, in the deer season. Like, not that I fucking care. I'll shoot anything, whatever.
You got to start practicing carrying. You got to start practicing like tarp work, and
carrying. Every time I go out there to check the trail cam, I do pack, just because I'm like, there's animals. I don't know. It's coyotes and shit. I keep looking for. I know there's a fucking hunting stand out here because the realtor showed it to me when I first looked at this house, and unless someone took it down, which would be weird. Because it didn't even belong to the guy who lived here. Like, some neighbor set it up and then left it. I don't know. but I can't fucking find it. I keep going out there and looking at the trees and trying to find where it was. But I also have this like camo tarp that I bought.
I've in case it actually happens, in case you're able to go through with it and take a life.
Yeah.
I've been getting into the professional wrestling.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
That's a deep hole.
Holy shit, you are not kidding. It is the fucking best.
Of course, yeah.
It is. Oh my god, it's like I'm exactly at the right time in my life for it too. This is amazing. Like it's because it's all available online. You know, it's all available through YouTube and shit. And even WW, like the official WWE channel, will have matches from 20 years ago up there. And so I'm like banging through. I just go and find lists of the best events from the Attitude Era, and people have they curated lists that are just like essentially perfect. You know, where they've got like this is this story,line, this is
you don't have to sit through 3 hours of fucking filler and replays on Monday night. You can just get the greatest hits. Be a nice late adopter.
I fucking could not be more stoked with how it's going because like I had a feeling I was gonna like it, but I'm in a place now where like I was talking to my friends, and we were watching an event together, and I was like, so that's Kane, and at this point in time he's corporate Kane because this is after he's settled things with the Undertaker, who's his brother, who killed both of their parents in a fire, but they've settled things because they were a tag team duo, and they became the tag team champions for a while. But then the Undertaker turned heel and betrayed him. So the Kane aligned himself with Vince McMahon because he figured that he would, because Vince McMahon is the Undertaker's #1 enemy. So now they're in cahoots. It's like I know everything. I know everything about a couple of characters, and my favorite one. I think my favorite one right now is Mankind, aka Mick Foley.
Yeah.
But I also have a real soft spot for Shawn Michaels, aka HBK, the Heartbreak Kid, and because his walkout song is a song that just goes, "I'm a sexy boy, I ain't your boy toy. I'm a sexy boy." He just every time he goes out into that song, and it fucking kills me. It kills me, man. So yeah, I've been having a fuck ton of fun with that. You and Steven should try watching some at some point.
That would be fun. One of the funniest things I've ever seen, I saw it recently, was this. It's this smaller, I think, YouTube channel where they just interview pro wrestlers because I think they'll just do any interview, and it was like a series. It was called, Most Hated Wrestling Figures. And then they interview everyone about, whatever guy they're talking about. And it was like a top 5. And, like all the guys are like, they're most hated, like because of their character. Like there's, like Vince McMahon, most hated. But then it was like Chris Benoit. And everyone being interviewed is like, it's like a total misunderstanding because it was like a fan voted list. It's just like the fucking dumbest shit.
That's a fair bet though.
No, it doesn't make any sense. It's not most hated. Like
no, but the thing is that really genuinely there is a period where there is an element of WWE. Obviously, in the case of Chris Benoit, there were extracurriculars, we'll say, that might have tarnished his reputation. But like some wrestlers, there's the actual real world ongoings behind the scenes with the WWF, because I'm in the WWF at this point, that impacted how events unfolded on screen. So like there were people that had actual fucking beef. That like the Montreal screw job, that was a big deal, and that was like completely forged on insane behind the scenes drama that's way crazier than any storylines going on, in the actual WWF. But universally most hated wrestler though is Ultimate Warrior. Apparently Ultimate Warrior was the biggest piece of shit ever. Just a giant fucking asshole, like actually. And if you ask any wrestler, they'll say that. So yes, I am enamored with the WWF right now.
Dig it.
I want to play. I want to go through and play all of the games. I want to start with like the. I want to play through like the SNES and the N64 and find the best one.
Yeah, those games, like from probably on the PS3 and stuff, where you can make your own like storylines.
Oh yeah,
just piece together all the
Ghost Problems.
Ghost Problems more. Chocolate Drop. Chocolate Drop.
Here, I just sent you a. This is not going to be useful for anybody watching the stream, but I just sent you a very funny video for
Titanic. Wait, what is going? Preview. Okay, this is a GIF of a video game, and I bet something's gonna glitch out all crazy. That's mostly it's weird body shaking. There's so many more weird bugs than that.
I just like the face fucking element of it, though. I like that he's fucking her face. He's thrusted.
Yeah, the bugs in there, they're very funny.
Oh fuck!
I'm really hoping that one in particular of our regular viewers shows up, because I was watching a VTuber stream the other night, and who do I see in the chat?
No, you didn't.
Getting a membership on YouTube. I don't know if you're familiar with this. They have you can join a membership of it. You can be a member of a channel, and it's like $5 a month, and you can have special members only videos. And then when you get the membership, it shows up in the chat feed as like a super chat would, and then the streamer will call you out and say your name or whatever. And I saw this guy. I was like, that avatar looks just like that guy who listens to us. And then it was fucking him. Oh my god.
That is a crazy coincidence. So genuinely, because there's so many fucking VTubers.
I want him to show up so I can make fun of him. Of course, that means I was also watching the thing he was watching, but I'm taking him down with me.
Which VTuber was it?
Her name's Leah.
Leah VTuber.
I think she's Canadian.
Mitsurugi Lee. Oh wow, she's a cat girl.
No,
look
not
at
her.
Those ears. Oh.
No. Oh, is there? Well, there's a bunch of them, huh?
Is it LIA or LEIA?
Yeah, the one from Phase Connect. I saw that.
What is Phase Connect? It's
the studio, the agency. I mean.
Okay.
I saw him in that stream, and then I went to bed, and I had a dream where I was watching streams, and he kept showing up, but his avatar always had a disguise on, like he had a sombrero, and then it had a mustache. And he had like slightly different name every time, but it was always a play on his actual name.
He's just constantly getting super chats.
It's so funny.
Yeah. What else? I saw. Yeah, watching WWF. I think I gotta, now that I'm done with summertime rendering, I gotta back into Legend of Galactic Heroes. I'm like 60 episodes into that.
Oh yeah.
I've lapsed a little bit on my Japanese lessons, which I need to start again as well. But I was surprised by how well I've retained the characters that I know. That's fun. I tried playing the newest Warzone game. It is the most fucking busted game I've ever played in my entire life. Is it like a
new mode, or what's up with it?
Warzone 2.0, the sequel to Call of Duty Warzone.
Is it a fully different? Is it different executable, or like it just?
Yes.
Oh wow.
It is Warzone full release.
Is it on like the Modern Warfare 2 engine? Like, is it part of that game, or is it just its own separate thing?
I suppose it's probably built in that engine, but it is genuinely, unironically, more broken than that Korean one that we used to play with Sam, and it's. I think it might be the most broken game I've played in like 10 years. I obviously haven't played some of the more notorious games. I mean, less broken, more broken than Skyrim when that came out. Constantly crashing. Looks like the performance is atrocious. It looks like shit.
Nice.
Like 50% of the graphical fidelity of the original. I mean, it's worse than Warzone 1 when it came out. I mean, it's crazy. The only thing that it has going for it is that it has prox chat with everybody in the entire lobby. However, what that means is when you're loading into the lobby, every single person can talk in prox chat. So it's 150 people screaming at the top of their lungs in an absolute cacophony for like 10 seconds.
That was in Battlegrounds too. That was fun.
It doesn't work. It doesn't. There's no like spatial sort of like way to differentiate them. There's no.
Yeah,
it's
just the fucking void screaming at you. It's just the souls of the damned calling at you.
It is nuts. But yeah, the netcode is atrocious. So like the gunfights just feel like RNG. Like it feels like it's just. I have no idea. I mean, I played probably like 3 or 4 games total, and that like a couple weeks ago, and I haven't played since. But I can't believe it. It's as fucked up as any game I have ever played.
Nice. Well, in 3 years it'll be just kind of shitty, like regular Warzone. Regular Warzone
was pretty hot there for a while. It was pretty good during the original Modern Warfare run of that game, but. Anyway, we
watched Summertime Rendering.
Did a big one. Did 20.
We watched the
Big
Boy Show.
It's got a Big Boy Show.
Mm-hmm.
It's got action and death, and fighting.
Yes.
And guns.
Yeah. Eventually. Yeah.
So we covered the first episode of this on a pre-season recap. Was it in spring?
No, it was. Yes, it was. It must have been spring. Yeah, we watched the first episode of Summertime Rendering. We were very hot on it.
Yes.
And we decided to watch the rest of it, and so now we have. I told you about how I watched 17 episodes today. It's all inside my brain. I'm in full comprehension right now. My understanding is so complete and comprehensive.
Actually,
it's like
I've
see
watched
everything. It's like I'm seeing everything. 360 degrees, fucking 8 million colors, 32 million colors.
So the way that I watch it is that every time he killed himself, I jumped back to the beginning and started again. So I've actually watched the entire thing
18 times.
Almost all the way. Yeah, but I watched it a whole bunch. So I actually forgot what my mom's face looks like, but at least I remember every single intricate detail of this island and every event that unfolds. And I have, again, also a complete understanding of it. And I totally did not get utterly lost for about 6 episodes. So that's good.
You had to push out most of your childhood birthdays, but at least now you are in possession of the entirety of Summertime Rendering.
I am slowly starting to piece together who you are. You called me.
You're like, I probably know this guy. I should pick up the phone.
Well, I actually, I did look through my voice messages to myself. The reason that I had 19 voice messages saved on my phone is because I've been calling myself every time I restarted.
You just have like a recording from yourself, like, I like hot dogs.
Yeah.
And then one's like, okay, one time in 5th grade, I said this really lame joke in class, and no one laughed, and I felt like a fucking faggot. And then the next one is like, make sure you always pee standing up. People don't like that if you don't stand up.
Yeah. You were actually the last one was that you have a podcast you need to record tonight. So that one's going to call you. It came after the story about how I defiantly pissed myself in 1st grade as an act of rebellion. So, but I've been able to kind of reconstitute most of what happened to me before I started watching the show, I think. But who knows? maybe some of the finer details might be gone.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll get there.
So,
yeah, I had seen the first, I think, 6 episodes of this, and I kind of just read the summaries of those first few to catch myself up, and then started back up, and then watched the entire rest of it today. And I don't think I really it's not too hard to understand that first part. And it's a manga adaptation, OLM. And we really liked that first episode because we thought it was basically perfect. It's like they had it down to a formula. There's probably a formula for just like a perfect first episode of a TV show. You know,
it's the most amazing hook laden thing ever, where I feel like there's so much intrigue. I want to die. You know, it's just like I'm possessed to inevitably watch it. It's too tight. What could any of this mean? Yeah.
Yeah, ropes you in so good. Yeah, but I'd watched more of it, and I was like, okay, like, you know, the rate at which, you know, things are revealed kind of slows down, and, you know, so yeah, I watched the rest of it. What did you think of it? What was your impression?
Okay, so I watched it in a vastly different rate than you did.
Oh yeah, you watched it slow.
I watched it mega slow. I watched it where I would have 2 or 3 episodes for a viewing session over the span of like 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. And my impression of this is I think that the first core is really goddamn tight. I think that the premise of it's Groundhog Day meets Body Snatchers is like, on its surface, sounds a little stupid, but I like the mechanics of like having a character that has to relive a day with a specific goal in mind, and like I like the you know, putting the pieces of the puzzle together. I think that a couple of like that first core has a really terrific like moment where you see the ultimate end game. You know, like that's in episode 4, like 5 or 6 or something, where like the protagonist basically reaches the bad end at that point. And that shit was, I'm like, God damn, that's awesome. I like having, you know, like you see the true stakes because he's kind of like piecing it together for the first few episodes, and then you see ultimately what happens if he fails completely. And that shit rocked. I thought that the end of the first core was amazing. I thought that was like really compelling, and then the second core is like so convoluted and just so just a nearly every episode there is a new wrinkle thrown in that is like ass pullery and needlessly it like tied into everything else that's going on. However, I do think that because I'm revisiting some of these images so often throughout the show, when they pay off at the end, I found a lot of the payoffs to be satisfying. I think that it is like a convoluted sort of like mess of a narrative that has very effective moments. What do you got?
Yeah, I think, well, I didn't really, it was never convoluted to me. Like maybe that's because I was watching it in such quick succession that like I just, you know, I didn't forget anything. But yeah, it's more like like I feel like it lost me a bit earlier than you, because yeah, it seems like after a certain point every episode, they're like multiple times an episode they're introducing some completely arbitrary power that the shadows have.
And that's what I'm saying. When I say convoluted, it's the constantly adding on new rules. It's like always new rules in every episode.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's yeah. Asspullery is a good explanation of it. It's just there's always just something else they can do that they just somehow know, and yeah, I feel like maybe that first episode is kind of doesn't like it doesn't set expectations properly, not in terms of quality, but just in terms of what the show is actually going to be. Because honestly, I think this would be better. The first episode makes you think it's going to be kind of a supernatural mystery,
Yes.
right? But it's really better classified as just an action show. Like this is an action show. This and honestly, it kind of feels like one arc of an action shonen that has been stretched to 25 episodes.
We are fucking in sync, my friend.
yeah. It's there because there's one. Well, I mean, there's kind of two antagonists, but like they're like together the whole time, and we, in terms of figuring things out and what's happening in the story, we basically blow our whole load by like episode 5 or 6, and then we like pretty much know 99% of everything by like the end of the first core. And then there's like maybe one more piece of information to get for the entire rest of the show. And just so much of this show, after you figured out everything that's going on, is just fighting this one guy who, it turns out, his character and motivation is extremely shallow and not very interesting.
Yes, he wants to live forever.
And he's evil, and he wants to. Yeah, he wants to live forever. He's got FOMO.
So this is not to say, and the thing is that like I ultimately enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. I had fun watching it. It is nonsense, but there are so many things in it that work for me that I found it compelling. And I think that maybe there's like too many character subplots going on. I think that maybe there are too many contrivances for the sake of getting new action set pieces and shit. But when the meat and potatoes of like the first part of, when the meat and potatoes is happening, Homeboy has to figure out, Shinpei, main character, has to figure out what events he can enact to avoid the ultimate bad end that he saw. I love that. I love that. I love him attempting to rewrite history, and even like some of the earlier stuff, like the shadows, the shadows like flash him at one point and gain access to all of his memories and know exactly, like, so he loses his big advantage, which is that he's able to take the memories back in time with him. That's a great development, and that seems in line with like the sort of copy ability thing, like the ability to copy people. It's once we get into the realm of like, we are just copying, once the shadows gain every power, it starts to lose a lot of the intrigue to me. Like the intrigue, I think that's really the problem, is that once the intrigue is gone, it becomes battle shonen with it's a big shadow, a big black figure with multiple arms fighting a lady who uses her hair to fight, and it's not like the most compelling thing.
And they have to keep inventing ways for that to like keep happening. It goes on for like so long. But yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves. But yeah, the things the caveats I would like to add on to my criticism is that, first of all, it looks fantastic the entire way through.
It's stupid.
It's gorgeous. It's stupid. All the action scenes are great. With some exceptions in the earlier parts, there's full action scenes where there's way too many shots where it's the same shot of like slow-mo of someone's face turning with like blood droplets. They do that. They love that fucking shot.
Oh yeah.
They do that way too much. And like there was kind of a total lack of reason for anything happening. But I feel like it kind of redeemed itself in that way, like kind of just in the last episode, so it kind of saved itself there, but we'll get to that. But yeah, I guess maybe we should quickly summarize. So it's the main character's going back to his island hometown for his childhood friend's funeral because she drowned, and he left because he just kind of wanted to take off and make money in the big city. And he was kind of an asshole. And his hot blonde childhood friend was clearly in love with him, and he didn't notice or care. And then he's coming back because she died. And then he hears mysterious rumors, and then he finds out that there are doppelgangers called shadows that correspond to an ancient legend that exists on the island, and they are killing people. So other characters are there's this lady. Oh wait, now I can't remember. Does he know? He doesn't. He's not supposed to know her, but he knows the author that she is.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay, and he figures that out at some point. I don't remember when, but yeah, she is also a native of the island, and she's coming back to investigate this. And he has. Okay. Oh, and the one thing I also kind of forgot is. Okay, are they all? Who's adopted? Who's siblings? Who's who? He has parents.
So Alan, his parents are dead.
Yeah.
We learned that they were killed by the shadows. He was adopted by Alan. Mio and
Ushio.
Ushio are both biological children of Alan's. I'm pretty sure.
What? With different mothers?
I can't say. There's no reference to Mio being adopted, at least from what I can recall.
Which one even is Alan? I don't remember anyone.
Alan is Ushio's dad, who runs the cafe.
Oh, is he the fat guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She doesn't look like him. I maybe get a test done.
He's supposed to be a Westerner, obviously, because his name's Alan. I think he's French.
Is it supposed to be like that Mio took after Mom and Ushio took after him because he's got the blonde hair? That's probably what it is.
Ushio and Mio have the same name.
Well, yeah, because I know they are like siblings in some way. I just don't know if they're supposed to be full sisters, like biological sisters, or half
I don't think
sisters
there's any
or
sort of.
stepsisters.
There's no reference to it, but
okay, I couldn't remember if I just forgotten it.
Shinpei has his own last name, obviously.
Yes,
but he was taken in by Alan.
He's
but anyway,
gotcha.
So we've established there's the body. You know, there are doppelgangers showing up. The first episode, he's basically completely lost in the first episode, and the episode ends with him being murdered by what appears to be Mio, after Mio is killed in front of him. And then he wakes up again.
Mio.
He wakes up again on the boat, and he's fallen face first into writer lady's titties. So he, in the first few episodes, he basically learns that if he dies, he loops.
Yeah, it's a time loop show.
Yeah, he's doing a Groundhog Day. You know.
Yeah. Except it's only when he dies.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, there's shadows. He learns the rules about the shadows. He also learns that the shadows plan will come to fruition at the summer festival in 2 days, I think, from when he gets there. So he has to figure out how to stop him before then. And then just as he goes along, you figure out that author lady also has her brother's personality inside her.
Yes.
This is where things start to the rules start to kind of go out the window as we just kind of start piling things on each other. There's a lot of fighting. Another thing I noticed is that like I was beginning to get concerned that like the writers were not like too worried about making every line of dialogue make sense. I think they didn't think them all through too much in a way that could kind of, if someone watching is trying to understand what's going on, could kind of end up confusing them. Because at one point, he's looped, so he's gone back, and he's told his allies that he's gone back, and they're going to fight this family of shadows that they've already fought in the last timeline, and they're like, okay, but you can't help us fight them because that could alter the timeline, and we want to know why us fighting them doesn't work. But that doesn't make any sense, because by telling them that he's already altered the timeline, so it doesn't make any sense at all. It's just stuff like that where it's like you don't have to have them just say whatever.
Stuff. They have problems with closed loops and open loops in this. They have problems with in time travel fiction. You just have to embrace to what degree are you going to have a perfect loop on everything, and to what degree are you just?
That's not even a time travel problem. That's just characters saying things that are not true and that would probably occur to them if they were sensible people.
I also felt like the translation that I had. I watched 2 different translations, and one of them was better than the other.
Oh yeah, the other thing is that everyone's supposed to have some kind of Southern Japanese, almost maybe Osaka Ben sounding accent, which they translated in my subs as just just constant contractions and ya instead of you. Yeah, Yeah. Except no one says yeah if it's at the end of a sentence. Good for ya. That's not out. No one would say that.
Yeah. It would be maybe
you want to make it sound country.
Yeah.
But
you could do what's wrong with you is acceptable, but take person with you works, but
that's fine. Yeah, but there's a lot of ones where it's it's not how someone would say it, no matter how hickish they are.
It's like if the subject of the sentence is you, it doesn't really work. I don't know.
Yes, exactly.
But it's semantics. So the first series, I think there's probably 4 different sections of the show. There's the first section, which is kind of getting a handle on the time travel premise and understanding a little bit about not the deeper nature of the shadows, but just sort of there are shadows that exist. When do these shadows get made? And then we have the moment where he sees the ultimate bad end that he could be facing, which is everybody fucking dies.
Yeah,
of course. And then after that, it's a sort of where do we go from there? We starts to learn more about the shadows. He starts to become aware of the fact that the other, the shadows that he's fighting become aware of the loop and know that he's got this power now. So there's that kind of struggle. The end of the first core is him coming to the decision that he's going to do, accepts that he's going to start killing himself until he's able to, because at that point I don't think he had killed himself yet. He'd only been killed by other people. And then that's at the end of the first core, he starts deciding that he's I'm going to kill myself to, start up another loop and keep going. Then he's got the section where he's facing the fact that he can only loop for so long. And then there's the end game, which is basically them fighting a whole bunch.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of fighting throughout. The other thing that happens is that, his dead friend comes back as a shadow.
Yes.
There's a lot of figuring out rules with that, because there's a lot of characters that are kind of shadows, but not really. And every time one shows up, we're supposed to be surprised that someone is kind of a shadow, but has other stuff going on. I mean, as soon as this fucking tall, squinty, closed-eyed guy who's nice but kind of creepy shows up, I'm okay, is he evil? And then he's just straight up the main bad guy. I was like, man, did I call that one first, second? Ooh, hey, in our chat, xxx20.site, hot girls here. Hell yeah, dude. Fuck this podcast. Cool. You vamp for me, buddy. What's going on here? Yeah, I want to unblock that from my ad block. Hey,
download whatever you want as long as it's hot girls in there.
Take me back. I want to proceed. Oh, fuck me with 2 Ks. I am looking for sex tonight in my area. Is that my area?
Oh, yeah, close enough. You ask.
Sure. I like this one. This one's naked. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Moving on to bigger and better things. Many of these women are desperate single moms and cheating wives looking for some fun.
Oh no.
They could be. That's so sad. Are guys into that? Are dudes being like, yeah, desperate?
What could they be desperate for?
For money. I think this is implied it's a paid.
I would take advantage of these poor women at the lowest point in their lives.
Do you agree to keep the identity of these women a secret? Yeah, this seems legally binding. These women asked us not to allow men that are seeking a, quote, relationship. They only desire quick sex. No, not dating. Do you agree to this request?
Are you sure that...
Yes. Do you agree to use a condom while
can...
having sex with a partner you be on our site? How would they enforce this?
What?
How would they?
This is a scam site. Why are you asking me about condoms?
What's the ideal age you prefer? Between 18 and 19. All right, let's... How old are you? 21, sir. Some
desperate single moms.
Choose a password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh. Letters and numbers. All right. ABC 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, it's an email address. I give up. Let's see. Another thing. I stopped doing this at some point, but just examples of lines that bother me. Like at one point, so there's an old guy that helps him out. His name is Nezu. Nezu. Kind of a gruff groundskeeper Willie guy who has guns, and he loops back, and he's at one point he says to Nezu, he goes, you never told me your plan was to capture this shadow, and Nezu goes, well, I didn't trust you, and it's like, okay, but you trust him now? Why? There's no reason for you to, just because you captured one shadow. He could be planning things more than like an hour in advance if he's like planning on betraying you. There's no reason for you to trust him now. Nothing has changed. Stuff like that.
He already captured the shadow. He's not saying that I trust you now. He's not saying that I trust you now. He's saying that I didn't trust you to tell you the thing I was going to do, and now I've done it. So that does potentially. I don't know. Some stuff that was really working for me. I love anything that was tied into the mythology of the island, or like the ancient history of the island. I think that's cool. I like that's
there's the island, and also this is one of the things they didn't like super over explain, because kind of part of the reason for that is because they have their own version of it, but it gets tied into this actual Japanese myth of what's it called? Ebisu and Hiriko. Ebisu is this god, but it's the origin. I looked this up on Wikipedia, and it was the two like gods of Japan, Izanagi and
Izanami. Yeah.
Their first child was, I think, Hiruko, but it was born deformed and like without legs or arms, because like something, like the mother did something during the marriage ceremony. It was born like super fucked up, and they sent it away to sea on a raft, and then it washed up on shore, and it became this like well-revered, fisherman god named Ebisu.
Sick.
But I think like implied in this show is that it actually consumed Ebisu and assumed his like identity or something. That was like the first shadow, because
now that's fucking amorphous. Awesome.
Yeah, I read that and I was like, okay,
sick.
They wove this into that whole thing amazingly. That's cool as hell.
Like that shit's already sick, because it's like that's a great premise. Like this mythology, because I think at one point they explain that Hiriko might be an alien entity, or she's like extra dimensional or whatever, and it's just slipped into our reality, and that being the source of a not like crappy Western mythology thing, but instead bitchin' Japanese mythology is awesome. That's the tits. I love that. I love the integration of that. It's just fucking rad, and not in a way that it would be corny, like when in Prometheus they said that Jesus was a whatever the fuck they're called.
An engineer.
What? Yeah, an engineer. Not like that. Not that lame crap. This is way sicker because it's to my Western eyes an obscure deity from a far flung, mysterious Asiatic culture.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of similar stuff in like Your Name, right? Which also had there's other like parallels there. I'll probably talk about later, but like. Yeah, I like that kind of stuff, and I also like that like it not even necessarily is like literal, but it just might just kind of be reflecting this legend that already exists. So you don't really have to like get into like the really specifics about what actually happened or whatever. It's just sort of like that's the point of a legend, is just that like it reflects things that happen or it has an explanation for something. So that's all great.
It's fucking awesome. And another thing that's working for me, you mentioned that the show looks terrific, but it's got that dramatic timing. It's got that dramatic timing. And it's got the cliffhangers out the ass. It's got more cliffhangers than you can fucking shake a stick at, which I'm normally not a huge fan of, but they're executed really well. And one of my favorite ones is the cliffhanger of Ushio's shadow. And on the water with the fireworks going off in the background. She's in the fucking bathing suit that she died in. Fucking awesome. It's intriguing, mysterious. It's like okay, this is a Ushio shadow, obviously, but why is she not like the other shadows? I don't understand. It's terrific.
That one didn't get me as good because I feel like I still don't understand that one. And yeah, the cliffhangers are always just like, there's just gonna be some bullshit. It's just gonna be something happened. Everyone always has. There's always some kind of plan and MacGuffin, and people are always healing from things. If someone's explaining their plan, then the plan's gonna go wrong, and if the villains are explaining a plan, then their plan's gonna go wrong. You can always tell who's gonna be winning based on like who is. It's just very like standard. Whoever's more confident is gonna lose.
My favorite ones though are the ones that are not like the moment to moment dealing with like a situation cliffhanger. I like the ones that are like kind of open ended. I liked the open ended one at the first episode is an open ended cliffhanger. I like the one with Ushio where it's like it's not like in the middle of a fight or something. It's not like it's in the middle of like a tactical moment. It's just something that you're now facing for the first time. The cliffhanger with when Hiriko effectively wins, in one of those early loops. It's a great cliffhanger because it's like, fuck, it seems completely hopeless. They only have this much time to solve this thing. I just think that, this show has too much bullshit going on. I think that it's at its most interesting when it is just Shinpei trying to beat the clock, basically. I think if the ticking clock was a little bit more prominent towards the end of the show, I'd be more kind of invested in what's going on there. There's also too many the side characters that they drag with them. I don't think you need to drag the friend, the best friend character or his sister along everywhere.
Yeah, the sister didn't have a ton going on. The cop is there for some reason sometimes.
Yes.
Just there's a lot of people. It's a bummer because
tighten it.
Like this is usually there'll be like for so many one course shows where it feels rushed and we're like, oh, this could have been a 2-course show. And now there's a 2-course show we watch and it's like, yeah, this probably could have been tightened up a bit because we spend so long just prolonging the same conflicts and just adding more stuff onto it without adding much substance at all.
Core and an OVA. That would be pretty good. 1 core and then like 4 to 6 episodes, I think would have worked. But like that, some subplots that I didn't care about. Didn't care about best friend boy is interested in Mio. Don't care about that.
Yeah, it
Don't
doesn't add
care.
anything really, except for
Ju-
at the end. I don't even it doesn't even make sense in the ending really. But they just that's supposed to be like a fix. I don't know. Nothing
so
changed, but they changed it. It's weird.
so the first the final episode that which you had mentioned, the final episode is really, for me, I thought was really fucking good. Like the final episode, I was like, we're hitting on all these points, but they're changed just enough to be interesting. And I was like, an entire episode of resolution, like that just seems excessive. But I found myself, I did care the entire way through, which was not something I was expecting. Where I'm like, I because when I got there, I'm like, fuck, how can they possibly get 24 minutes of content out of this at this point, you know?
Yeah.
But I have to say that I was like, I found myself being nostalgic for these moments that had popped up throughout the show. And I was like, I was looking back on them fondly when we're hitting those points, and they were like, things that are reminiscent of things that occurred, or, explicit interactions that happened way earlier in the show that are being redone now, slightly different. And like, I really dug it.
Yeah, I was surprised. Yeah, I was pretty happy with the ending. But I need to work my way through this. I need to think more about there was like let's see. Yeah, there's some long flashback sequences. Sometimes they go through stuff that you kind of already figured out. That's the main character, he has to like plan a lot of stuff to try and outsmart the villains, but then the plan always involves something that you, the viewer, don't know about. So it never really comes off as like clever in the way that you would like it to, because it always involves some element that you never could have foreseen. Because there's always just some magic bullshit.
There's one or two that work pretty well. There's one where the first time I think like Mio transforms into him or something, or to like in order to interact with a creature, and there's like a twist where he's in a completely different place. That's a pretty good one.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. Here, I gotta fucking go pee real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
PP time.
Where we just hit peak viewership, dude. We got 2 people. He's gonna leave. All right. Well, what other pictures do I have here? Let's see. There's a lot of good images. Look at these. Oh yeah, I want this hat. That's what I was gonna say. That's a pretty decent hat. When you're drawing a hat for anime, you gotta have a weird English word or phrase that makes no sense, and this is a pretty good one. I wonder if I can buy that. Someone make this? I doubt it. Saute hat? Come on. Oh, yep, it's on Redbubble. No, god damn it! That's just a cap that says summertime. That's unrelated. What are these weird? What Redbubble algorithm makes? It's just like it's just a hat that says "Hello Summer," but like the title on the page is "Summertime Render Cap." Like, is there some kind of heuristic that's just making these based on SEO or something?
I'm back.
Welcome back. I was talking about how I want this hat, the Saute hat.
Got great colors. Just a nice,
clean, just red, a weird word that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to paint a picture of the levels of bullshit that this show really delves into. It's like they're always going into flashbacks of the past, but then the villain can like somehow be in the flashbacks, and then the villains always know where he is, but for some reason they never like fuck with him really until like a really crucial moment. And they never really have to seem to hide that much.
That was something for me where I'm like, why are they not just going after this motherfucker all the time?
Yeah.
Like why? Because they only got to really kill him. I guess if they if they kill him, that doesn't really work.
Well, they have to kill him multiple times, or capture him alive, which they never really managed to do.
Did you feel like there was going to be a part in the show where he was going to have looped a whole bunch between episodes? Were you anticipating a section where it's like I've actually lived through this like 120 times or whatever?
Well, no, because they established pretty early that like he can't loop that much because the start point advances a good amount every time he goes.
Is it really that? I guess he's jumping
the second time
20 minutes at a time.
The second time he loops, you notice that he shows up, at a later point. So yeah,
I figured they might ask Paul a way to do that, where it's like the further along that I make it, the longer the further into time my loop skips forward. But if I die 5 minutes after getting off the boat, then it just only advances by this much.
Yeah, I was certainly prepared for that, but I don't know. I guess I wasn't really expecting them to do it.
What is happening where she's punching herself in the face?
I think, is it her brother talking, and then she interrupts because he's saying something she doesn't like?
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's two people in bodies. There's time. So yeah, and then one of the flashbacks, the villain, the girl villain, is a little girl who's very old, who is a shadow, and yeah, she's like a god or something. And
let's ditch the doctor dad subplot. Let's just get rid of that.
Yeah, I mean that's at least I don't spend too much time on that, and it kind of explains like a couple things. Yeah, it's not really super important.
It's just expositing.
Yeah, the best friend's character, his family has been helping out the Shadows for like hundreds of years because they're promised like they get to go to Shadow World and live forever or whatever. One thing. Here's one thing I'm glad about is that they didn't. At one point, they go underground, and I was like, "Here come the test tubes with the shadows in them. It's gonna be test tubes. It's gonna be a lab. It's gonna be test tubes." And it's not quite that. And I was like, at least it's not exactly that. The dad was helping them out, and he was like a doctor, but at least there weren't a bunch of, test tubes.
No, it's in once. Really, the big sigh of relief for me was when they're like, this girl's an alien or some shit. Like once they're like, we're in alien territory, I'm like, I don't need to care about any of these mechanics at all anymore. Like okay.
Well, the other thing that relieved me is that there's not some like really long-winded scientific explanation with like nanobots or some shit for all of this. It's like, okay, It's an alien. That's that's as scientific as we get. It's like, okay, it's just some weird thing. That's fine with me. I guess it's
alien
not
and myth
entirely paranormal, but it might as well be. So yeah.
It's great, and once we've gotten that sort of like hand wave, I don't really care anymore when like new bullshit happens. I like like Shinpei is. I was reflecting on this was earlier today before I was watching the last few episodes. I was like, do I like these characters? Like, what is it about these characters that is compelling? Because like Shinpei he's a protagonist man, but he can go hyper rational mode sometimes when he needs to. Ushio is just a Genki, blonde hair girl. Mio's adorable, tanned up younger sister. But I did really have a lot of affection for the core main characters, particularly the writer. I liked her a lot. And I thought she was a fun and interesting character on screen. but I can't pinpoint why exactly because they don't really have a ton of. I think the thing that I like about it is that Shinpei has this conviction, and his ultimate desire to get this shit figured out is so strong that it's compelling to me. It's like he doesn't have much of a backstory other than his parents are dead and he was taken in by Alan, But I really fucking bought it in like the way that they drew the character and the way that he was voice acted, that he cared, and that was enough, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Uh, he never really like struck a chord with me. Like I would compare like other time loop protagonists. Like I would compare like when I think of, 'cause my mind went to like Steins Gate or something.
Yeah.
And like they make the main character suffer so fucking much, and also he has this really clear, like fantastic character arc that he like that is very, that is very easy to see throughout the whole series. And with Shinpei here, it's kind of just like, I don't know, he like the changes to his character don't really happen until like the last episode. But at least in the last episode, I was like, okay, now I kind of get where we were going here. But for the rest of it, it's like they don't really fuck him up enough that you. I don't know. I mean, they tried like the time loop protagonists. You have to really just make them like suffer,
Yeah.
That's just kind of part of it.
He does watch people get killed brutally in front of him a whole lot.
Yeah, but he never has like. It's never like really his fault, so like it doesn't really like change him as a person in the moment, and it's like he's just kind of there trying his best, and it's just sometimes it doesn't work. So you're not really like seeing it through his eyes. I don't know.
It's
like
the
his character isn't really like a part of what is happening all the time.
Look, I'm extremely stupid. So like I was watching I watched the movie Atonement the other day, and in that movie there's a sequence where I'm not going to go too into detail of it, but there's like one scene in the entire movie that has like the audience needs to make a connection to what's going on in order to follow what's happening. Like there's like the core narrative has a lot going on where you need to put some stuff together, but it's a mainstream film. And there was one scene with any amount of like the audience has to piece this together to understand this on-screen action that's occurring. And I totally I got to the end of the scene. I'm like, wait, what the fuck just happened? And I totally whiffed on that. And then with this here, I literally did not even like. I'm so stupid that I didn't even put together until the very end of the show. I'm like, oh, the show is about wanting to go back and undo actions from your past.
In your defense, it's not really. It doesn't incorporate that. Yeah, it doesn't really like. It doesn't really like. It doesn't have enough like showing you that. It gets so wrapped up in the mechanics and the actual plot of like what's happening and all the action that like, yeah, it doesn't really bring back that theme that much. So yeah, I mean, that's what I was looking for. I was watching this like, okay, what are we learning here? what's the themes? What am I supposed to be feeling? So yeah, no, I get that. Because what I was thinking is that's what it should be. But it's not really doing that. It's not really following through on that premise, if that is the premise, which it kind of is, but not to the end.
And like, it didn't even connect it though, because like it is so obvious, like it's so overt, and like the ultimate, and the thing is that the entire time, which of course as an audience member we understand that this will be undone, but the one death that he's not able to go back and undo is Ushio's death, because it happens before the events of the show, and it's this constant looming thing that he's going to get to the end, and then the shadow of Ushio is going to be gone, and that's the end of the road. And I thought about that from a mechanical perspective, but I never put together that he's going to have to I knew he was going to confront it, but I didn't expect it to be as like well executed, because I thought it was going to be either like a horrible cop out where which it sort of is, but like it doesn't really bother me because I think that it's well handled, you know. Um,
Yeah.
or it was going to be like that. It's good, big sad ending. He's got to say tearful goodbye to her, but him losing, you know, the majority of his memories of what happened is like kind of really perfectly threading the needle. I think.
I don't know if they
It's
even
also
did that. I think it's implied. I think they went for Mac's happy ending, but I still don't mind it that as much as I normally would for reasons.
it's the he does have to piece it together. They have to come together, and they're still not even like cool immediately at the beginning of at the as the events unfold in the final episode. Like they have to come together, and he has to apologize for leaving under the terms that he did and reconcile. This cat is about to climb over my keyboard. Okay, all right, okay. He's right next to my microphone.
Put his butthole right on the cue.
Um, yeah. So like I knew it was coming, but
Yeah, yeah, okay. So, yeah, the ending, we got to so first of all, like, yeah, you approach the ending, you spent so long fighting the big bad male antagonist and he has like nothing going on. And
yes,
they kill him. And one kind of like small subplot that they almost kind of gloss over, but I feel like I don't know if they didn't want to like make things too serious or if someone like actually made them take stuff out, but like there's references to World War II that I
yes,
feel like could have been like gone into even more because it seems like there's some
absolutely.
kind of backstory involving the better antagonist, the girl one, because I very much like the idea of like like this like this villain is like this weird fucking thing that's just been like around like struggling for like centuries, and it's just this weird fucked up sad thing that's always encountering all kinds of
Right.
tragedy everywhere it goes. And so if it had some kind of like moment where like maybe like it had some backstory where like it finally got some kind of family and then it immediately gets firebombed in a war, or it gets like they all get vaporized by like by a nuke, but then the thing like reconstitutes itself because it's immortal or something, and it has this like break where it decides to stop believing in humanity anyway. I like
Of
because
course.
I like
Yeah, well, you do it as like a human observer, where it's like it stays kind of starts off as like it takes on the form of aliens and just kind of like witnesses the Earth, and then eventually it makes the decision like, okay, I want to try to live as a human, and in order to do so, it has to kill and assume somebody else's role, and then they face the ethical dilemma of like, okay, I'm not going to age, and not aging means that I can't maintain this form forever, and then they're like, okay, well, ultimately what I have to do is form a world for myself where I have to get enough power to form a world for myself where I can have a family with me forever. That's a very simple way of doing that, I think. But it would be, enough of a backstory to then incorporate those elements of like human tragedies from our actual world that can't be undone, you know?
yeah because you're trying to figure out like what this thing's motivation is, and so like if you made it some real world thing that would give it like an appropriate amount of weight without like being like crazy out of place, and so you all this whole chain of events is caused by this thing that's kind of just out of your control and just kind of tragic. That would be good. But they have just a couple of weird war references in there that they don't really like talk about. And then the conclusion of that character was pretty good, way better than the other villain. Where they
Absolutely.
just sort of erase it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, much more well done. Should have really just focused on that. And then you start to see like, are we going just for a full on reset ending? Because there's only so many ways you can end a time loop show, and most of the time that's a reset ending. And they do go for the reset ending. Um, and but when you do the reset ending, there's like a couple different ways you can do it. And I don't think this show probably doesn't deserve to be the show that I take this out on, because it just kind of got unlucky, because I'm just like, God damn it, fucking reset ending. But that's just because I've seen so many reset ending shows. But like the shows I love that have reset endings also, weren't the first ones to do it. It's just that now I've seen those, and now I'm watching this one, So it just it's just got in a bad spot for me. There's people who haven't seen a ton of reset ending shows watching this who think it's probably fucking rad. What I do like about this is that, like, at first glance it seems like way too happy ending, where it's like way too happy, where like everybody comes back and gets to be alive. But they go so far with it that I did actually end up liking it, because it's kind of like, the point of a reset ending is to, like, normally the characters lose their memories of what happened. So you, as the viewer, are watching this sort of mundane event, but you are aware of the massive amount of struggle that went into making it possible. So that gives
some dramatic irony.
So it gives the whole thing, a lot more meaning, and it like, makes you appreciate it more, which makes you like, just makes you think about appreciating your own life more, in some way, because you're aware of all this stuff happening behind the scenes. So they finally kind of make good on actually, doing something with the main character, where it's like, he still comes back to his town, and he makes good with Ushio, and everyone's life is just kind of better, and so it's nice.
Everyone's life's better. They also save the Heine girl, who was a shadow made by. I think they saved the shadow of Heine, is what happens, right? Like she gets to live in this world now as and also Ryunosuke, the brother of Raider, and like, so, yeah, I agree. I think that they seems like they're slowly getting their memories back and like becoming aware.
The last moment of the show is absolutely them remembering everything. It's a full happy ending. They even get to remember all of it, I think.
Yeah.
Or at least the two main characters, him and Ushio do.
Not sure why Ushio would be able to remember, because she won dare, but whatever.
Don't make no sense. It's because she got the necklace or something. Whatever. It could be anything.
That sequence is gorgeous too. It's fucking nuts when they're on the beach and it's all lit up with colors and like pulling the shell out of the sand. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, they really go for it in the visuals.
Looks so good. Oriental light magic doing their shit.
Yeah, the show looks really good. There's a ton of crazy faces. They make the girls hot all the time, which is good for holding your interest. Another thing to mention is I like that Ushio's always in a swimsuit, because it's kind of like how a ghost will be like in the clothes they dyed in, but she has like a practical reason for it, but it also kind of like makes her into a ghost. This was very brief, but I kind of liked the relationship between the main character and the author's brother, because he at one point absorbs him into his body, and then he kind of like adopts him, and they kind of have this cool. They're kind of bros. That's nice. The guy's been living in a lady's body his whole life. It must have sucked. He gets to do guy shit. That's probably pretty cool.
I like that the writer lady uses a sledgehammer as her primary weapon. It's a ridiculous weapon to have, but I'm into that. You know what I like seeing guns. I
don't know how many episodes in we finally get to like use guns. They're using nail guns. Yeah. There's so many explanations of how the nail gun copies work and all this shit, and they're always using the nail guns, and finally he just gets a revolver. It's like, thank Christ.
I love that. I like the idea of having to deal with this force, like a force that might. In this case, it wouldn't be much easier if you had like a real modern firearm. But imagine a scenario where it's like, okay, if we had a real firearm, we could deal with this threat. But because we're on a Japanese island, none of us have fucking guns.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to now come up with, whatever we have on hand to deal with it, which I think could be cool. And there's a little bit of that with like the nail gun at the beginning. But yeah, we eventually enter the gun zone pretty quick.
I'm looking through my notes here. More things that annoyed me. At one point, they're exploring this abandoned building, and they find a locked door, and they try to like hit the door with a hammer, and it doesn't work. And they're like, "Well, I guess we got to find the key." And it's like, "No, you fucking do not. How are you gonna find a key, you fucking idiots? It could be anywhere on the earth." If I lost a key in my house, I would give up immediately. You're not gonna look for the key. You have one day, and then they immediately find the key.
Well, doesn't she just do the key?
Oh yeah, shadows have X-ray powers. By the way, this is what we're talking about. Like it's a problem. It's a serious problem. They're trying to get from point A to point B so bad that they really just don't think about it all the time.
Oh look. Hey, save it.
What are we? David's already done with this podcast. He's like, "What are you guys doing next? Come on, man."
What was that show with the alien that would assume the form of whatever was dying in front of? Yeah, let's watch that.
Oh, that's okay. That's another 2-core. I heard that wasn't that good.
Oh, was it?
Are
really
we gonna watch
2-core?
Sunny Boy? I don't know.
We were gonna watch Sunny Boy. Is that 2-core or is that 1-core?
I think it's only one.
Oh yeah,
13 episodes.
Yeah, I'll watch that shit. Maybe we could find something a little bit lighter. Not that this is like the most dour thing.
Yeah, something less cerebral.
Some crap. Just like some garbage we could watch. I don't know. Like
I love it when people are in the comments instead of just in Discord, where we have them like
unhinge my jaw and shovel some crap anime down my throat for a bit. What's like a good like slice of life that came out in the last 2 years?
I don't know, like the fishing show or like Slow Start or like.
What about one of those shows where the girls are mean? The shows where the girls are mean.
Oh, like the one where they're yelling a bunch, like yeah.
Yeah. You get like a girl like demeans the main character, or like they're just Chainsaw Man.
What's that show where the guy's a chainsaw?
Yeah, that girls are mean in that, I'm sure.
I heard the girls are mean in that.
Which one's got the mean girls?
What's the movie with the mean girls in it?
That's a great Kevin Smith story.
What's the movie where the guy's his godfather?
God.
Oh, is that the thing Kevin Smith says?
There's the one. Kevin Smith has a story about how he went to a porn shop to buy porn for his wife.
Oh,
like,
the woman porn. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Is there like? Did you guys have like porn, like woman porn, like porn with like girl porn?
Yeah.
But yeah. What do we watch next? Do we feel like we've covered? Do you have any final thoughts on summertime rendering here?
No, I think I accurately summarized my feelings on this particular reset ending. Yeah, it was, I liked that it was kind of all sort of in service of making this guy a slightly better person and unfucking his life a bit. And, you couldn't really tell that that's where it was going, throughout the whole thing. But at least they kind of made this. They kind of made a reason for the story at the very, very end.
Man, you just need a good first episode and a good last episode. That's all you need.
It's more true than most people probably know. Yeah.
Yes. Look,
everyone forgets the middle.
We fucked up episodes 25 and 26 Evangelion. Let's do a big episode.
Episode 27, I call it. 2 hours. Nothing but rape and magic.
And then, yeah, do it real pretty. And if you do the rape real pretty,
so many robots running around and bleeding and raping all the time.
Little boys touching their dicks and kissing old women. Little boys touching their dicks, kissing old women. The girls getting mutilated. And I think we got ourselves a hit.
Gentlemen, we got ourselves a movie.
Yeah, I think that I like this show more than I don't know that I can justify how much I enjoyed this. I think I maybe just enjoyed watching something that was 25 episodes in like a normal manner.
Yeah, like a huge, like if you watch it slow, it's total eye candy, you know.
That was and again, like I said, there were I liked the hooks that they kept dropping. I think that the first core is way more solid than the second core, but final episode kind of really pulled it together for me. And my overall was pretty positive on this, in spite of the fact that it's a mess. But I'm not afraid of messes. I have many things that I like that are disasters. So I've watched Song to Song and Knight of Cups by Terrence Malick like 4 times a piece, and those movies suck. So, yep. Sonny Boy could be good, but I want to watch Mean Girls. Damn it.
What's the
one where the girl takes his manga drawings and throws them on the floor in the middle of the library? Watch the first episode of that. She's like got
Nagatoro?
crazy.
You want to watch Nagatoro? Don't believe me, Nagatoro.
Yeah, maybe I want to be mean. Maybe I want to be mad for 12 episodes.
You just want to watch a girlfriend experience, like Lonely Guy slice of life, like I like.
Let's do it.
All right, I watched all of Nagatoro. Season 2
Oh,
soon.
fuck. Are there other recent rom-coms that are worth watching?
Do you want the brand of it, like totally formulaic, like a Takagi-san or something like that?
Maybe I do. Maybe I do want formula. Back to formula is what I say.
What was the show where they were screaming all the time? I'm never gonna be able to find that shit.
Maybe one of those shows with the girls. What was the one with one that took place in a college? The girl was small but had huge tits.
Yeah. What's her face wants to hang out? Uzaki-chan. Yeah, see,
man, I need something.
That shit was garbage.
Maybe I need something with a little bit more narrative. Maybe I need just enough narrative to pull me through. Because that doesn't seem like it's going to have much in the way of like real character trajectories and shit. I think that she's just going to be small and have big tits the entire time.
Yeah, there's not much going on in that one. But there's wait, what's the one I'm thinking of? Wait. I can't remember. I'll figure it out. Be easy.
All right.
Yeah. Look forward to that.
Yeah, the girl anime. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. Next up is girl time. It's time.
Yeah.
It's time to give our due diligence to the ladies.
Enough of this gun crap. Enough of this
None of this time travel. None of this time travel gun stuff. It's time to go to the mall.
It does have one of this show did have one of my favorite things in it, which is I like it when kids put guns to their heads and blow their brains out. I think that always looks fucking cool. It's cool when it happens in Persona.
Isn't the best part is when he's giving a motivational speech and then he immediately loops and he's like, "What just happened?" And they don't even need to show it. You know, he just got fucking gacked right there.
extremely
I was
violent.
like, I'm so glad they did that. Oh yeah, there's a lot of pretty nasty faces. They do some pretty nasty stuff with faces in this show.
I was going to mention that too. I'm glad we're bringing this up now. They do a lot of close-ups of people that are like the hyper detailed kind of like distorted faces that you'll sometimes see.
It's weird because sometimes, especially Ushio, she'll make a lot of facial expressions that don't match like the tone of the scene. Like she always looks kind of fun and cartoony, but other people will give the nastiest looks. You know?
Yeah.
She's always having a good time.
Yep. They do the put the camera up close to their face and do it as a not quite like a fisheye, but a little wider angle to make them look a little twisted. Which I appreciated. Yeah, people get their fucking skulls crushed. They get their heads blown off.
Everyone is dying. Like, main characters are always dying constantly and very suddenly. And then in like episode 15, you know, there's this long sequence, the whole episode, where everyone's like getting slightly injured but not dying. And you're like, oh, okay, this is a checkpoint. Like, this is where he wins, and then now he's gonna be able to loop back to this point, which is exactly what happens.
Yeah. It's like loses. You know, people lose arms, or it's
Mm-hmm.
No. You know, I don't think anybody gets permanently mutilated.
Just temporarily, yeah.
What about Sono Bisque Doll Wakoi Wosuru, my dress-up darling?
You want to watch a rom-com? Sure, yeah.
Yeah, why not? What about Horimiya?
What about it? Wait, which one's that?
I'm throwing these out there. Are any of these speaking to you?
I watched 3 episodes of Horimiya. Well, which one was even that?
What about the alien the alien tiger girl from last season? Is that still airing right now?
Urusei Yatsura? Yeah, that's still airing.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
If they're gonna, I wonder if they're gonna adapt all of that. It's gonna be like 150 episodes. Monkao. What's that, David? Monka W. Is that a Twitch thing? Are you putting Twitch emotes in our fucking? You're banned. What the fuck is this?
Yes, we did watch a 25 episode show to completion.
I watched almost all of it today. My life's over.
I watched it. I watched it over the span of a couple of weeks. Which gotta do it, man.
I wasted my whole Sunday, and I got a whole 2-hour podcast out of it. Yay!
Wasted, he says. What are you gonna do? Go on the internet?
Oh, Asobi Asobase. That's what I was thinking of.
What is this?
That's just a slice of life, but it's just like the girls are crude and they yell a bunch.
Uh-oh. My cat is revved up. Oh, he's hunting.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna have to fucking...
Has he caught any creatures? Has he caught any bugs or like mice or anything?
I don't really have much in the way of like
sizable
bugs or mice in my apartment, no. So, which like, it's funny. This place is, it was built in the 50s, so there was still like craftsmanship and stuff. So it's built like a brick shit house, and all of the things that are wrong with it could easily be fixed, but the foundation of the place is rock goddamn solid. So no, but it would be fun if he could. It would be fun if there were rodents running around for him to murder. I'd be into that. I gotta have rodents in my apartment, but at the same time, he'd be pretty satisfied with that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I love how just like without fail, like the oldest shit that you have in your living quarters will always work the best. Like the best working part of my house is the heat, which is like one of the only original like things in here. I turn the heat on, the whole house goes up 5 degrees in half an hour. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, shit was made to like last for fucking ever, because you would like, if it didn't, somebody would go and like firebomb the office building of the place that was responsible for it.
Yeah,
because it was like, okay, well, my heater didn't work tonight, and my grandmother died because it was.
Yeah, someone would march down to City Hall and to give a really stern condemnation.
They would get Jimmy Stewart out, and he'd be like, "Oh, listen here, you can't be making heaters that don't work. These people, they're cold. They're cold, see? They're cold. And they want to be warm. And they deserve to be warm." And it's like, damn, that's true.
Remember that one scene where just one of the main characters just fucking kills his zombie wife, and then we never talk about it again? That was so weird.
See, is his wife back from the dead?
No, in the recent ending, yeah. Everyone's back.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, I'm happy
Good for him.
I'm happy. He didn't really have to go through much. He just kind of worked out for him.
He got to shoot his gun. He got to shoot.
He did,
got
yeah.
to shoot stuff with his gun. That's awesome. Good for him. He's usually like a hunter, but I bet when he was, sometimes he thinks about like, what if I got to shoot a person, and then he did get to do that, but with like no ramifications.
Yeah, that's very true. Did you watch Battle Royale High School OVA 1987?
You think so?
Why have I never heard of that? Ooh. Damn, look at that art.
Why would this get us on an FBI list? I don't understand the joke. Oh wow, that's a lot of violence. That is just a bunch of violence.
Battle Royale High School is a funny way to think of like a school shooting. Like you're like, all right, last man standing, but you're just like, you got 3 rifles.
Wow, this is wow.
Studio Dast.
I don't know
Angel Cop.
Want to watch.
Oh
this.
Man, we got to continue the Angel Cop sort of, it's progeny, whatever you call it.
Progeny.
There's
progenitor. There's progeny. There's stuff of that.
The through
of that ilk.
line of art that is the Angel Cop.
God damn! Look at that.
Pedigree.
Look at that bloom. Some sequences would have like the sketchy outlines and be like a little kind of just sketchier in general for like effect. And those are the hottest sequences in the whole show, man. That's look at that. That's just terrific.
Directed by Itano Ichiro.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll just watch
some more. For Evangelion 3.0. Director of Gantz. Oh, the Gantz guy. Okay.
This is are you looking at the Battle Royale show?
Yeah.
I see. Wait, is this still? It's fucking anime industry is so weird. Where like people that have directed like known shit will end up just doing like backgrounds on other shows.
CGI for some movie. Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
It's just I don't know.
I guess you gotta work. Maybe they want to hang out with their friends. Because it's the only way that they can hang out is if they're working on something.
What's weirder to me is when people just disappear for like 10 years, like, and seemingly do nothing. And then they come back and they're doing, people who do like one storyboard for like a big show, like every 2 years. And it's like, what the fuck is this guy up to on a day-to-day basis? Do they bring him back? Like, does Trigger bring this guy back to do one storyboard? Like, because they remember that one time? Like, what happens in between those two?
Sometimes people will like disappear. They used to do like hyper violent OVAs in the 90s, and then now they're doing like titty rom-coms, and like they'll show up and do like one season of something. What a strange fucking industry, man. And I would love to know more, but I'm sure it's basically impenetrable unless you speak Japanese to like find actual information about what it's like working in that scene.
Yeah, finding websites that like catalog all this shit is probably for a gaijin pretty tough.
Because who even knows if all of these credits that people get are correct? Like for all we know, like people are just getting incorrect credits.
Yeah, I bet a lot of those are kind of fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fizzling out. I feel like I'm out of content. I'm out of hot.
Yeah, this one I'm just trying to get through all these crazy screenings that I worked tirelessly for.
This flashback here was probably my favorite one. The flashback to the first time that Hiroko copied a person. It's just spooky. It's just I wish this was more horror and less action.
The action's good, but there's a lot of action. And yeah, there's less just creepy, weird stuff. I like creepy, weird stuff, personally.
Yeah, and I think the stuff that is creepy and weird in this works really well. I wonder what's going to become of that Uzumaki adaptation. Because last time we looked at it, it had gotten completely scrapped and they started again or something.
Yeah, it's like that Aladdin game. or not Aladdin, fucking Prince of
The
Persia.
Aladdin movie. Yeah. Oh, wait, there was a Prince of Persia game that was.
There was a
scrapped?
reboot of Prince of Persia that Ubisoft was having an Indian studio make, and they were working on it for like 3 years, and then they brought it to Ubisoft and they just completely scrapped it. It was so garbage, and they're like, it's not canceled, but we're just starting it all the way over again because it was so bad.
I watched a video last night about the history of Team Fortress 2, and like Team Fortress 2, it was a sequel to a game that was like a Quake mod, and the Team Fortress 1 is the Quake mod, but they also have Team Fortress Classic, which was a Source Engine remake of the Quake version of the Quake game. They started work on Team Fortress 2 well before Team Fortress Classic even began, and that game took like 9 years to actually come out. I cannot believe that they saw enough value in the property of Team Fortress to scrap and restart production on that game like 3 times. Like, how the fuck do you do that? It's also like, what Avatar 2 is coming out in like a few days. It's like,
let's go,
first
baby.
of all, I thought Avatar 2 was coming out next year, and also
this year.
How did it take 10 years? What has he been doing? Because they've been working on it that whole time.
Yeah, he had to write he wrote like 5 at once, and then they shot them all at once. I think they got delayed by COVID and stuff. And also he probably had to I wonder at this point if James Cameron is just pretending to do this, but I think he had to like wait until the water technology had evolved enough, like he had to do with the T-1000.
Yeah.
Because of course, like he had to make once he made $1 billion, he was like, okay, now you have to let me make an underwater one. I have to be underwater.
Well, it's going to make the most money of any movie ever. He's going to do it again. He cannot be stopped. Yeah. It will happen. It's not even like a question, because it's going to be the first movie that people actually give a fuck about since COVID. I'd say that the movies that people have cared about since COVID are Top Gun, which was like, I don't understand how this happens, but it was a blockbuster word of mouth success, where like the entirety of that movie's success was predicated upon people telling people to go see Top Gun, which like that shit doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
And like, it's worth going to the theater to see it. And then nobody's giving a fuck about any of the Marvel movies that have come out in like 2 years. Hasn't been a Mission Impossible movie in a few years. So yeah, this movie's going to make like $3 billion.
What classic story is James Cameron going to rip off for this one? I think it's going to be so generic that it doesn't even have a name. It's just kind of like, it's like Star Wars. It's just going to be kind of Viet Cong people,
This is Avatar 2.
The Way of Water.
It's going to be Avatar again.
Yeah, except without a white savior protagonist.
Yeah, blue savior protagonist.
Yeah, a lot of blue saviors.
They made them. I mean, the new characters are so fucking ugly. It's insane. I never thought that like the Na'vi were an interesting character design to begin with. Not to like shit on Avatar because it's like old hat, but like they made them look so fucking gross now. Have you looked at the trailer for this?
I thought it looked. I think it looks nice.
It's not the actual graphical fidelity. I just don't like the way that the people look. I don't like the way that the new Na'vi look. They look
different from the last one.
Gross. Yeah, they're off-putting to me. But you bet your ass I'm gonna go see it as fast as I possibly can.
I feel like this is how I remember them looking. I don't know, but I just like Avatar because it's so. It's so devoid of meaning that it just becomes like just a bunch of colors flashing in your eyes, and I just want to experience it like it's like an acid trip. And I just
well, no, it's got a lot of meaning. It's got so much. It's got meaning like
trees good.
Don't trees good. Don't be mean to other people. Do unto others as you have others do unto you. These are
not even.
These are,
I don't. Yeah.
Fuck the pretty alien girl. Um,
Well, did you see that James Cameron was like, it almost seemed like like the kind of thing where like you say what you're supposed to say, but you accidentally like go too far and it weirds everyone out. Because when you make a movie, you're supposed to say something about how it's about like the male ego or something. And James Cameron's like a Comic-Con or some shit, and he's like he's quoted as saying testosterone is a toxin we must rid from our bodies, and everyone's like, whoa, little far there. That's
man,
a weird that's a weird one to say.
You made Aliens. How dare you?
Who's the main character of Aliens?
But big gun shoot 'em up. What about you made Terminator 2? Terminator 2 is big gun shoot 'em up too. That's all testosterone. You couldn't have made that without
That's a lady in that though. Also.
Yeah, quote unquote lady. It's a lady. It's a lady.
Linda Hamilton is still a lady.
Yeah, no, it's you got Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger's weighing about 298 pounds.
Well, he's a robot. He doesn't have any hormones.
He's got nuts.
He has balls.
Yeah, you can see his balls in Pinor and Terminator 1. You see him flapping around when he's walking towards the camera.
Maybe they're just cosmetic.
Cosmetic balls.
Yeah, just for convincing, just for fooling people.
My cat has a cosmetic nutsack now because it doesn't work anymore. It's just it's slowly shriveling like a raisin.
I forgot they don't fully cut it off. They just let it die. That's kind of sad.
They pulled the testicles out and left the scrotum there, and it is just slowly shriveling away to nothing. It's so funny. It's so like because when I first found him, he had his testicles still, and it was a proud nutsack that he would bandy about with reckless abandon. And now I look at it, he doesn't seem aware of it. Doesn't care, but just knowing that.
Yeah, one day he's just gonna casually chew it off and eat it, and he just animals just don't care; they'll just eat fucking whatever.
Yeah, I wonder what it's like to be slowly be feminized. It's just like I think this guy was probably probably getting some ass.
He's not a he's just a eunuch now. He's gonna have a beautiful singing voice.
Yeah, I think he was getting ass before I found him because he was 2 years old. And like he's a street kid, he's got to be getting some fucking tang. And now that's just over. And he's stuck inside all the time. He doesn't get to pick what food he eats.
He had his fun in his 20s, and now it's time to settle down.
Well, yeah. If he was 3, he's 14 in human years.
Well, sure.
So if somebody cut my nuts off when I was 14, I'd be pretty upset about it. I would be like, I'm just starting to use these things. I'm just starting to figure out exactly how hard to tie them up to make it really hot. It'd come really good, and
I can choke myself just right.
Yeah. I'm my edging strategy is I know exactly when to release the belt so that I don't slip into the void.
Exactly.
Man, I wonder how long it would if I were to like die in my apartment. I wonder how long it would take for somebody to come find me.
Oh, no one would find you. Your cat would eat all of you.
Just
in a day.
He loves me. He would never do that to me.
He loves you. He doesn't love your delicious corpse.
What an asshole. Go for the eyes first because they got the most moisture.
Yeah. So easy to just dig out.
Delicious eyeballs. Yeah. He's scooping my eyeballs out with his fucking paws.
They totally would do that, little fuckers.
David says that it would take years for me to be found if I died in my apartment. I don't think that's true. I think it might take 2 days.
What if you died, but you just happened to be like opening your freezer and like holding a big box of salt, and you just accidentally like froze and like cured yourself? You just totally mummified yourself completely by accident. No smell.
Looking through like during, I think we learned about quote unquote ancient history, in like 4th or 5th grade, and. I remember like when you would go through the history book and they have like images of mummies and shit. That was haunting. you get these gaunt fucking mummy corpses that are like, it's like, look at how well preserved this thing is, and it's like it has no eyes.
Like, yeah, it looks like it looks like it's in eternal pain.
Yeah, and I'm like I am 10.
Yeah,
I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. The episode I just watched the episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog with Return of the Slab, and I'm going to defiantly piss myself again here in fifth grade out of in response to this. This is wrong. It's wrong of you to do this to me. What do you think? What do you think the thing? Go ahead.
Well, learning history, I was thinking about, this was funny to me. I noticed that like I think Europeans are on the offensive on the internet because everybody's watching their sport and remembering how much it sucks.
Oh, sure.
Like on Thanksgiving, someone turned the TV to the World Cup, and soon as the channel got changed, I watched like the most egregious dive I've ever seen instantly in my life. Like, it's just a guy, I forget if it was one or two guys, just like pretended to get kicked, and then we're like on the ground like, oh, I got kicked in the stomach. Oh, now my head hurts, you know.
Well,
I didn't even get to see a ball get kicked. I turned to the channel, and that was the first thing I saw. And so now, like, Euro friends are like on the internet doing their. Have you noticed that? I think I've talked about this before, but they'll like. They love to just make up lies. Like they'll be like, "Oh, Americans don't even learn about World War II in school. They don't even know what it is." It's like, yeah, you're welcome for the billions of dollars we gave you to save your fucking shitty continent that we all left because it sucked and it still sucks. And your sport's lame. You're just like, yeah, they don't even learn about it. They don't even know what World War II was.
I'm gonna go back to the soccer point, I think.
Yeah,
it's they do it every 4 years. Like, come on. Is that because you don't think that the only country that matters can get excited about soccer if it happens every year because we have other shit we can do other than fucking play soccer? Like, what is it about? Like, why 4 years? It's like I saw people talking about, it's like, you guys have a really, really talented young core of players, and you know, in 2026 you guys are going to be really fearsome. It's like, 2026, what the fuck is that? I can't get excited about that. I'm gonna not that I watched the fucking World Cup, but like, I have zero interest in this at all, unless of course we win, and in which case you got to be insufferable about it. Also, is this not just something we can throw money at until we win? Like, why can't we just money our way into winning the World Cup? It seems like it'd be...
Probably wouldn't be worth it. I don't know. We already got our football guys get brain damage. They're permanently changed. They can't read. They can't remember their kids' names. That's how you know that shit's real.
Sometimes they kill their families. Yeah, it's even better that
they hold up clubs even though they make $100 million a year. They just point guns at people. Yeah. At like
they get arrested for shooting themselves in the leg. They get arrested for shooting themselves in the leg because they feel like they have to act hard.
They buy 6 pounds of weed and like take their clothes off and run around.
They go broke the second that they retire because they spend $5 million a year on private chefs. Like,
that's a solid marble house.
Yeah. They buy their mom 5 cars the second that they get their first contract, which is good for $2 million.
Yeah.
Like, and you want me to care about this bullshit? No. I say no.
No, thank you.
Go Japan though. Japan.
Yes, Nippon Banzai.
That'd be fucking awesome. That would be sick. Because they would care, and I don't care about Europeans. There are no European countries that I care about enough to want them to win the World Cup. But there's one Asian country I care about a whole lot, because they would mean so much to them, and not in like a fake, like, we're a bunch of drunk asshole, like, we're Europeans pretend to like things.
Yeah. Japan doesn't even have any rivalries. They're just like happy to be there. They're so psyched.
Yeah.
And
Japan.
All the cool countries are winning. Germany's getting fucked because Germany's lame. Who's it? Spain.
Japan has only has genuine enthusiasm. There is they do not put on airs. It is not possible. They don't know how to do it. Like, look at their comedy.
There's you know what it is? It's not resentment. They're not happy that someone else lost. They're excited because they won.
That's right. That's right. Nippon Banzai forever, dude.
Yeah, man.
Do they? How are they doing? Where are we at?
I think they're like top of the E bracket or whatever it's called.
Standings. Can I just get like a real fucking actual bracket, guys? Can I just like?
It's probably too complicated for us to understand. It's probably so weird. I don't know how the fuck soccer works.
Literally, just do a round robin or single elimination tournament. I don't care enough.
Japan's going against Croatia today at 10 a.m.
That should be a dub. They should dub that out, no problem.
Croatia, I don't know.
Will Japan win World Cup? I want the spoilers. Somebody tell me that Japan's going to win the World Cup.
Their team is called the Samurai Blue. Nice.
Yeah, they only qualified for the World Cup for the first time in 1998. Like, come on.
Damn.
The people who played on that team are still alive. They get to see Japan. Come on. Oh, my God. Japan odds to win World Cup. 70-1 they have them.
Damn, I would want to be in Japan when they won. Imagine just walking around walking around like Shibuya. Everyone's just fucking pumped and classily drunk, not like sloppy European drunk, but like just happy blush drunk.
They're all crying. Is the thing. They're all
yeah.
You got businessmen in the streets with their ties they all have their jackets with them in their briefcases, but they're all crying in joy. And they're all watching. Everybody's looking up at the TV. Everybody stops on the big crosswalk to look up at the big ass TV as they kick in the game winner, and everybody celebrates. And that's where you want to be. Yes. Because you don't really, when you think about it, is there anywhere on the world that you would want to be when their country wins the World Cup other than Japan? Absolutely not.
No,
because of pandemonium.
No way.
It would be like after World War II when the sailors came home, and it was like just a bunch of people like crying and making out. So that's the kind of attitude I think it would be.
Be nice.
Love you, Japan.
Thanks, Japan.
I was watching some videos of it was 4K 60 HDR videos of just walking around Japan, and there was some pretty fucking good ones, man. I was like, holy shit! I can't believe how fucking crisp videos are now, to where like people can just do that. Like, there's a channel with like 100 of them, and they all look fucking amazing, and it's all presented exactly the way I want. Nobody's fucking talking. They don't have any text coming up at the bottom of the screen. They're just walking around these places. It's amazing.
Nice.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, then I guess we're done with this one.
Are we done, or are we just beginning? I'm going to kill myself. We're going to go back to the beginning of the episode.
Yep. Damn, I should have prepared some kind of small explosive so that we could do a cool gimmick with, I don't know, some kind of loop. Next time, Loop.
Just play this song. Just play one of those Chinese songs.
Yeah, let's get back to the real shit, and that's Chinese saxophone. Thanks for joining us, everybody, and David.
Love you.
Yep. What's going on in this one? Okay, I thought this was the beginning of a song, but this is nice too. This is a nice mournful.
Sounds vaguely Middle Eastern, or like a weird hilly European.
It's certainly eclectic.
This is a cow pulling Hey Up the Mountainside music. This is
Yeah, this is our protagonist has moved to a remote mountain village, and now he's a sheep herder.
this is obscure domesticated animal music.
This is the planet Earth where some like kind of dorky animal is walking around chewing grass.
Ben Stiller just got to this remote location where he's going on a vision quest, and there's an alpaca chewing cud and looking at him.
David says I'm getting Mexican or mafia vibes. Yeah, this is the guy like walking. This is the guy taking the body to the burial site, and like it's against the sunset in a wheelbarrow.
Like Kitty has emerged